Here's what we're doing today. We've got this house here we just bought, and going around replacing all the switches, outlets, and plates. And I'm sorry for the angle, it's the best I can do. I ain't got no helper here with me today. He's busy making sausage for his family. Unbelievable. Anyway, a couple steps will do it real quick. I've done about 40 of these probably already. See the last one. Alright. Basically, I've already made sure the power's off. Okay. Ain't nothing happening there. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the switch. And for that, I'm using my Ryobi lithium 18 volt cordless drill screw gun here. It's a P271. This is a good one right here. It's got the it's real nice. It's got the big battery on it too, so it's got lots of pep. You hear that? Okay. Now the bottom one here, let's take a look. Get that out of there. Let's go ahead and get that. Now once in a while you might have some paint connected. You can usually just pull it out of the way. If it's on the drywall, you want to use a razor knife. Make sure you don't ruin your walls. Let me just go ahead and wiggle this guy on out. Oh, she's stiff. Oh yeah, she's real stiff. Yeah, those bars are real stiff. Now these bars, this is an old house, so you see some tape here. We don't really like to see that. That means something not exactly right. But we're gonna work with it here. Now this here a three-way switch, so I actually gotta go get me a three-way switch, and I'll be back. I done grabbed the wrong switch, basically what I'm trying to say. This is a two-way, it's a standard switch here. I gotta go grab my three-way. Stand by. I got the three-way switch this time. Dang it, that's the wrong switch. This is a three-way. Done grabbed the wrong one from my pocket. Alright, so you see this one only has two terminals plus the ground. This one here has 1, 2, 3 terminals plus the ground. Now, the screws, let's forget about the ground. The screws are different colors. These two are called the runners. These are the ones that run to the switch and to the other switch in the three-way connection. And this right here is the common, alright? So, you look at the old switch, you can basically see how it's wired. This happens to be a somewhat recent switch. So you can see here, it's the same layout as this switch I got. So the runner's going to be on the bottom, and the common's going to be right here on the top. All right. So we'll go ahead and obviously it's important. A couple more things, folks, real quick. Important to know the electricity's off. You know, make sure you shut the breaker off and make sure the lights don't work anymore. Or if you're doing an outlet, make sure you have a night light. You can plug into that outlet. Make sure that it's not lighting up. And this little tool here, I'll show you here. This is a Greenlee GT11 voltage detector. This right here is real handy. This one happens to be broken. But basically you turn it on and you put the little tip along the wire. You can just put it like this or on the terminal or whatever. You can stick it in an outlet. And if there's a voltage run through that line there, it's going to beep like the dickens. It's going to let you know right straight out, no questions about it. It's going to be like, yo, don't even do it. All right. And just a little, one more thing I picked up. It's helping me with this. I got these lights at Home Depot. These are super bright LED. This is, I'm going to turn that off. It's a Cat brand. It comes in a 2-pack for $19.99. Sorry, these are from Costco, not Home Depot. It's got a little handle on the back. Pretty nice. You can use it as a stand. And it has magnets too, so you can go ahead and stick it where you need it. Anyway, so I'll be using that. It's very helpful when you are doing things with electricity. Make sure you have good working light. All right, let's get to it. Swapping out my bit here, and just start unscrewing terminals again. Make sure you see the white here. Now this is tape on it. Again, I mentioned I don't like seeing that, but there's a white and a black. So the white and the black there. So basically this is a three-way switch. So it means there's a red wire as well. And the red wire in this case is going to be the runner, along with the white, and the black wire is common. And that's going to be the normal case that you're going to find. So let me just loosen up the one on this side and the ground. Now folks, one more thing to mention, this house has metal boxes in the wall here. This is metal, not plastic like you might see usually. So a lot of these outlets are actually grounded to the box directly, and not necessarily directly to the switch, because the switch is being metal and connecting to the metal box grounds itself. So just if you see that, that's what's going on there. If you have an older house, or I guess sometimes it might depend on who actually wired it, if it's their preference to do it that way or not. Alright, so now I'm just using my screwdriver to loosen up some of the wires back here, because these are nice and tight. This was done good. Just loosening up the connections there. Sometimes they wrap right around the screw, which is a good thing, but just makes them a little more difficult to get off. So use my pliers here and just make it do what I want it to do. You're mine, you do what I want you to do. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. Yeah, but anyway, you need to untwist some of these wires because they've been jammed back in the box. So make sure you just do what you got to do to kind of pry them out there. But do be careful though. You don't want to go hurting yourself now. These wires can be pretty sharp at times. So keep that in mind as well. Just going to rip this one as being a real son of a you know what. There we go, got her. Alright, set that one aside. Alright, so now let's just make sure we remember it as we're doing this once again. Our common is black, our runners are white and red. So it's very important we hook them up the same way when we go ahead and put the new switch in. So we get this last one out here. There we go. And folks, just one more comment on this, getting these wires unhooked. These terminals do come out all the way, but they have sort of a stop. So if you're going to force them out all the way, it's going to be a little bit of work. So I usually I don't even bother with it. I just, finagle them off. All right, let's take a look at our wire lengths here. This is another important thing to look at here. You see this one here? I'm going to go ahead and straighten it out and get a good view. This one is not what you want to see. This is too short. You really need to see a nice long wire. Because, well, here's the deal. Okay, folks, check this out. You can poke the wire in through the back here if you want. You see these little slots here. But I prefer just to use the screw terminal. And if you're using the screw terminal, you got to have a little bit more length than that to really wrap it around the screw good to make sure it don't come loose. So for each of these wires, I'm going to straighten them out. If they don't look like they're long enough, I'm going to use my wire strippers to go ahead and give it a couple twists. Pull that off there. Okay. And again, I have to make sure that it's nice and straight. Okay. Because it makes it easier in the long run for the next step. Now we go ahead and do the same to these other wires. This black one looks like it could use a little bit more length, so I will go ahead and provide that for it. No charge. Okay, here we go. There we go. Just kind of work it off there. Maybe you need to turn, make sure you cut all the way through. Ah, there we go. Okay, red wire. And the ground wire, you don't need to worry about too much since there's no insulation on it. It's basically just going to be good to go. You don't need to worry too much about that one. But let's go ahead and get this red one here. There we go. Probably about there. Yep, that looks good. Okay. Alright, just slide it all off. There we go. Now, there's a little trick you can use here. For at least the first two wires that you're connecting, or first one or two, depending on how much length you got in the box. First of all, you're going to decide how you want to lay out your switch. Okay, I'm going to do it like this way with the common right here. Okay, So they have these little stoppers here, and those help you to wrap the wire around. So basically, and this one is actually different. If you look at the other switch, let's turn it around there. You can see here, this one has this little thing sticking out here on that side, and this one's on the other side. So those are opposites. I'm not sure why that is, but it's definitely easier to do on that side because you want to wrap the wire in a way, or ratty tighty, lefty loosey, so that when you tighten the screw, it's helping to turn and tighten down the wire. But anyway, you can use that to help you. But in the interest of time here, folks, I'm just going to go ahead and start getting these twisted around. And again, I want to just point out I'm using the wrong tool. You're going to want to use a needle nose plier for this. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. I just honestly haven't unpacked all my tools, so I'm sort of working with what I got at this point. But anyway, you get some nice loops like that. You see, that's a good one. The black one's looking good as well. And then the white one, I'll turn the other way because it's going on the opposite side. White, I could go a little longer, but I think it's going to be all right. Once it gets on the screw, it should tighten up a little bit and do what it needs to do. So yeah, we're going to go with it anyway. There, I'm going to go ahead and start getting these hooked up. Try to get to the end of this here. Alright. Folks, it's handy to have a Phillips and straight head on hand. I just have the one screwdriver, so I'm just swapping bits. It's a little annoying, but like I said, I'm working with what I got at this time. Alright folks, now remember we talked about the black being common, so we're going to hook that up at the top right in there. And you just got to kind of work with the wire and say, come on wire, get in there. Come on now, get in there, you sucker. Alright, and if I have my needle nose, you would go like this, and you could just pinch that together. Much easier with needle nose than with these regular pliers. And that just gives you a good grip on the screw. Again, I'm going to try to do the same again here. It's real difficult with what I got here. Really, folks, it's just a lesson in laziness. Just find the right tools for the job, folks. It's going to make your life easier in the long run. It really does. I find that time after time again. It makes it much easier if you take the time to find the right tool for the job. But, c'est la vie, I suppose. Alright, those are good. Last thing is the ground wire. So I'll pull it up here. I didn't leave me much slack here, so I'm going to try to straighten it out a little bit. Yeah, okay. Alright. And get this all hooked up here. You might need to start bending some of these wires to get them out of the way. That's perfectly fine. Depending on how old the wires are, sometimes they bend easy, sometimes they can be a real bear. Alright, and these wires are pretty old. This one's newer than the rest of the house, but I think they've been in here for a good amount of time nonetheless. Alright, tighten this ground down. Make sure you're tightening these really good. You do not want these wires slipping out. You do not want that. That's not good. Especially if you got a metal box, it's going to short if it touches the side of the box. So now you kind of bend the wires down and then up, and you can get the outlet back in position. Take my trusty Ryobi again, and for the sake of time, drive it in top and bottom. Now when you get to this point, you see the switch is like, oh, I'm going to go to the right, because hey, why not? If you have something you can just stick in and just give it a little pry, straighten it out in the back, the top and the bottom. You can also use your fingers to move the wings up here. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it in the rest of the way. You want to leave it out from the wall a little bit. You don't necessarily want to tighten it down completely. depending on what switch plates you're going with. In my case, I got these switch plates right here, and I'll show you that. Stand by one moment here. So I got these switch plates right here. These are a nice bronze switch plate. Okay, we're going for bronze fixtures in this house. So that I find it works a little better if you don't put the switch in all the way to the wall. So go ahead and finish this up. Slap the plate on there and get my trusty screwdriver with flat head. Man, I'll tell you what, folks, I hate working with flathead screws. These things are just finicky as whatever. Finicky as all get out. So finish this up with one more screw up top. And you notice my method here. I like to twist the shaft and hold the handle steady. It really helps you hold it nice and secure and get that screw in good until you get to the end and you can finish it off. We're good. Alright folks, that's it. Now you just turn the power back on. Make sure you didn't screw the pooch on this one, but I think we're good to go for now. And you know, stay tuned for the next video. It's going to be a real knee slapper.